Alright folks, this is the first video I'm shooting of the system in operation tonight. Picture my ugly mug, because whatever. Alright, just a brief walkthrough of what we've got here. We've got a pressure plate clutch assembly with a disc in it. That's a 1mm feeler gauge, by the way. We'll get back to that. Got a clutch pressure plate. We ended up with about 1/8 preload on it. Just nature trying to keep this thing strong, and I'll talk about that in the posts. Trying to keep this thing strong enough to hold the loads and still be able to get the slave in here. This is what I had to resort to. Not thrilled about it, but it works. Bug threw down my float. I had to run a bolt, threaded rod, through this stupid thing, replicating the input shaft, just to get this thing, even with all the bracing, all this bracing, just to get the stupid thing to hold. Okay? It's so much force, it just wanted to split. Using brake line, run to the master, and I've got a fitting down here, right here. It's a 1/8 NPT, so I can put a pressure gauge in there and get us some line pressures, and from line pressures and measurements we'll be able to determine exactly how much force we're exerting. I was going to use a force gauge, but this is just easier. And here's my rudimentary pedal setup. Firewall to pivot is the same as stock. This distance is the same as stock, and this distance from here to here is the same as what I listed in that first post there. So everything's bled up, and for the first shot I'm gonna put this right here. I want a picture. Alright, invisible bell housing, take one. Alright, that's full release. Pedal is alright. Now we've got a 1mm feeler gauge, and it's got just the right amount of drag. Okay, the flywheel does spin. I've got a socket in there on the splines. Excuse me, smoking a cigarette. I want to make sure we can see that the flywheel does spin. Okay. Flywheel moves freely. Really wish I had an assistant at this juncture, but that's the long and the short of it. That's the basics. That's what we're going to do for tonight, and we're going to discuss this.